Now we're official. So thank you again for having us, and great to be here. I'm going to spin up my screen here, and we'll get going. Again, pleasure to be here. My name's Stephen Mirante. I'm our Vice President of Sales over North America. Oh, we got all right, there we go. And so we've got two parts to today's discussion. Number one, I'm going to take you through just a brief overview of FileWave, kind of give you a storyline if this is maybe your first time looking at us. And then I'm going to go ahead and dive into the actual product itself from a very high level viewpoint to kind of give you just kind of what an IT administrator would go through dealing with FileWave when it comes to these different operating systems. So, of course, to get us kick-started here, some introductions. Of course, with your Midwest team, you've got Bridget Shoemaker, which is the account manager, Michael Hughes, you're a dedicated senior engineer, Sarah Ernest, a part of the account management team, Callie Wagasback, who was just mentioned as well, helps us manage our national partners, and then myself. So, again, really appreciate being here today with you. Hopefully everybody gets some great information out of today. Keep the questions coming. I saw already one put in there. That's great. I love it. If I don't get to it during the speaking parts, we'll definitely come around to it at the end and also in the middle. All right, so to kind of jump right in, first and foremost, when anyone talks about device management, they first kind of think about MDM, right? Mobile device management. But then, of course, everybody's minds really goes towards, they're just another Apple management product. And that's unfortunate, right? Because as we all know, that just doesn't cut it anymore. And so that, of course, is where FileWave wants to go way beyond and bring you more of a unified endpoint management platform. So yes, as you'll see today through this first section and second, FileWave can allow you to fully manage your Windows, your Macs, your iPads, your iPhones, Apple TVs, your Android, and even an extended visibility reach to those Chrome devices. So really great to have one platform to rule them all, essentially. Now, kind of a little bit more about FileWave. We are a global company, but most importantly for you is that our headquarters are based in Indianapolis, Indiana. And why this is important is because that's where our support is coming from. So from about 6 a.m. to a 7 p.m. Eastern time, you'll get the Indianapolis office. After that time, you'll just get routed over to our strategic location in Los Angeles. All right, so all in all, we've got you covered here right at home. Now, we do support an array of different verticals, but I will say that about 90% roughly education is what we see here in the US. Anywhere from a couple hundred devices to well over, approaching 100,000 plus devices. Whatever your rollout, whatever your layout, we definitely can help. We can also introduce you to some more local references. Obviously, that's what we love to see is our customers really converse across one another, and so they can kind of talk about best practices. Now, digging a little deeper here, these are the top 5 challenges that we continue to discuss, especially as we kind of round out the school year, getting ready for next year already. This is a crucial time. But number one, of course, it's going to continue to be the number one important item is just needing to ensure you can connect to all your devices from anywhere, right? Completely outside the network or domain, doesn't matter, right? I need to now manage, though, a growing and mixed OS environment. You on the call today, you may have had Windows, a lot of Windows. Now you're getting some Apple, a whole lot of Chrome, some Android. Now it's just kind of complicating things, right? How are we going to best control all of these different devices? Number 3, simply being able to track the assets, right? Know where they are, know how they're doing right from that same platform, right? Bring them up right on a map, as we'll talk about. Number 4, the staff is now spending too much time across all these different operating systems, and you just need a better way to detect and remediate issues, especially with being off network. Number 5, just rounding everything, right? As you have these different operating systems, you've got too many tools potentially, right? How, again, can we reduce the learning curve and the need to keep up with just all these different tool sets to handle all of these different devices? And that's what we're going to bring you here right at FileWave. Now, this next slide I do show with the utmost respect, all right? Because we've been in the industry for a long, long time, and we know there's a lot of options for you. But at the same time, we want to be real with everybody. This is what we see in a lot of organizations today, right? They have Windows management tools. They've got an Apple MDM. They've got something else to help them sync with their Google. They've got an Android tool, and they have a separate asset management tool. Just a lot of stuff, right? This can be very convoluted and just taking a long time to relearn, keep up with, as I mentioned before, all these different tool sets. So again, we want to speak to bringing them all into one platform. Now, what does that look like? So from a non-technical aspect, we like talking and having these discussions within a life cycle preview, right? And so starting there at the left, we start off with giving you the ability to set up your devices, right? Whether it's through imaging or provisioning, getting the devices ready to go out in the wild. But once they're out there, that's where it is crucial that you have a tool like FileWave. So within FileWave, when the devices are out there, no matter the location, you can deploy any type of software, applications, documents. So basically, MSIs, PKGs, EXEs, DMGs, scripts, you name it. If it's deployable and you need to get it out there, let's make it happen. All right. So you can deploy that completely over the air to those devices, or you can utilize our self-service kiosk. And this is really nice because you can go beyond just having to throw it out over the air and get it to those devices. Now you can just pre-stage it to live in the self-service portal on that specific device and allow your end users to go there and get it when they're available. No need for ever to have them have admin rights. You can prompt that to be accessible through the kiosk. Patch management, again, another crucial IT management functionality. As we are directly integrated, tied to Microsoft and Apple, you'll see in the technical side that we're going to bring all of the updates right from within one pane of glass, right? So it doesn't matter if it's anything Windows, anything Apple, you don't need a separate SUS server or update server. We do that right here. Next is remote desktop, right? So another crucial functionality to remotely assist your users. So for Windows and Mac, we have that built into FileWave. It's full control. You can jump in, take full control of those devices, take over the keyboard, the mouse, the screen, whatever your extensiveness you need to do, you can take care of, or you can just live there with the user. Let them still drive and you just help them as they need. Device tracking is another crucial part, right? Being able to track your different devices, make sure that you know, again, where they are at a moment's notice, especially if we are in that recovery situation, all right? Device discovery. So this is a really nice benefit to our asset management portion because we at FileWave give you the ability to actually scan your subnets and tell you what all is out there. Not just the devices that are being managed. We're talking everything that's not being managed. Smart boards, printers, access points, even smart thermostats. If it's connected to the network and you want to know about it, our scan can pick that up, and then you can still bring those assets into our inventory tool and manage them from a accounts perspective, a reporting perspective, all the same, right? So we'll definitely drill into the asset management part in closing as well. There at the third column there, license management. So a nice way from the same platform to keep you in compliance, right? So FileWave is a way that you can upload all of your licensed content, right? From when you have a purchase order, upload it into FileWave, tell it how many licenses you purchased, when the expiration date is, when you want to be notified that you're reaching your limit. All of that is configurable within FileWave. For those Apple organizations, this is where the direct sync with the volume purchase program is going to happen through Apple School Manager. So we're going to make that process even easier for you to make sure that those codes are brought in, managed, and sent out as you need. The software usage part of FileWave allows you to drill down and kind of just keep track. Are we using it, right? We're buying it, but are we using it? Should we keep it? Should I just reassign it? You can actually see how often someone's launched the program, how long it's even been run. So good central way to see that. The last two attributes that are really fun to talk about is kind of some major FileWave differentiators. So again, as I showed in the slide before, there's a lot of options out there that do deployables and things like that. But FileWave has the ability to protect those deployables, meaning that when you've deployed it out, you just want it to work. Let's be honest here. It arrives on the end user's machine. You just want it to work every day like it did the first day. So when the user changes it, breaks it, accidentally or maliciously, virus corrupts it, they're coming to you, right? They're asking you to redeploy it or fix it, right? And then you're going to have to redeploy it, like I just mentioned, and it's going to take some time. Where FileWave, if deployed, if that content is deployed with being self-healed, by default, every 24 hours or by a simple reboot by the user, FileWave will fix that broken application. It's a really nice peace of mind that you just know it's going to work. The next big one, especially over these last several months, is the ability to not have to rely on your users being online to receive a deployment, or better yet, stay online. With our ability to auto resume deployments, that means that you can go ahead and send out commands right now. If the users aren't on, that's okay. FileWave just waits quietly in the background. As soon as the user comes online, it begins the installation. But most importantly, when that laptop lid closes, they lose power, the battery dies, it usually kills that installation. Here at FileWave, we have a built-in redundancy to give you even more peace of mind that says, hey, it's okay. As soon as that user comes back online, FileWave is going to pick up right where it left off. So nice and easy, set it and forget it. Lastly, we do have a RESTful API that allows us to integrate with a lot of different programs out there, and you may see some there. And this is a great way to centralize your data, right? You may have a help desk system. You may have another asset management system. FileWave can tie into that with our API. And like I said, we can centralize different data points. Maybe you want to see their location details in your help desk. Maybe you want to see the custom field of the status of the device in FileWave from your help desk, broken screen, missing keys, different things like that. It's all customizable by what you need, and that's where we bring in our pro services team. Let's talk a little bit about the infrastructure of FileWave and how that kind of looks before we dive right into the product here next. So number one, you can really spin up FileWave in an array of different flavors. You can use one of our pre-configured VMs, Hyper-V, VMware. Like I said, they are pre-configured, ready for you to download, very lightweight. Or if you've got a Mac server, you can put it there. Or if you don't want to deal with the server, you can just run it in the FileWave cloud. So very simple there. Next, I want to bring your attention into those three circles in the middle of the screen there, middle of the picture. And we call those boosters. Now, these boosters first are very low-level pieces of hardware. These can be an old Windows machine, a laptop. As long as it's got a base operating system with a decent-sized hard drive, that's a booster. You can have as many as you want. They're free. But the main reason behind the booster is for you to be able to offload your different site deployments. If you're sending Creative Suite or Office or any content for that matter, you can now have the booster that's locally associated to that site, that building, elementary, high school, middle, wherever. That booster will do all the work there locally. All right, so you can easily scale your environment and leave the rest of your wide area network traffic to a minimum when you're doing different associations. Also, another big benefit of the booster is that your imaging server for Windows can live on the booster as well. The benefit here is that this can allow you to do more site-based imaging. So long gone are the days to where you have to go ahead and deploy that image or content in general completely from the main office. Now that booster can do it there locally once again at that site, really enhance your imaging cycle overall. All right, so that was a very brief overview, and I'll come back in closing here in just a minute. So next, we're going to dive into the actual FileWave UI. And so once again, I'll preface that this is going to be a very high-level introduction. We definitely want to, after this call, maybe do a little bit more of a deep dive as well. And I do see there was one more question. Oh, okay, just a comment from Callie, making sure that everyone knows that she's available. All right. So again, if you do have questions, chat them in there. Let's see, that looks like there was one other one. Let me get that off that screen here. Is FileWave always on? How does it impact bandwidth? So yeah, so great question there. So FileWave is technically always on. So how we kind of combat that is FileWave is one of the only pull solutions. And so there's a push solution and then there's a pull solution. And this is kind of where that bandwidth question comes in, right? How taxing is this on our network? So the big difference is that literally 90% of the programs out there, probably 95+%, are all push. And what that means is that being always on is that when you send a command, it's sitting there pushing that content to please go, please go, please go, which taxes your bandwidth, right? When FileWave is a pull technology, which means it allows the devices to do the work only when they're online. So that means that as soon as you send a command, if the devices aren't online, as I mentioned before, FileWave just waits in the background. When that device comes back on, it checks in and it begins that installation. So very flexible on your environment's network. We do have a by default 2-minute tickle that can be altered. Honestly, though, because of the lightweight infrastructure needs of FileWave, we have organizations with up to 50,000 devices that have really bumped that 2-minute tickle to maybe 4. So really nice to just know that every 2 minutes, the devices are going to check in, see if there's been any changes. If not, it looks the other way. If it is, it'll bring down those changes. It's a great question there. All right, so back to the UI here. We're in the Clients tab, and this is where we'll start. The Clients tab within FileWave is literally where your devices are going to live. So there's a couple different ways those can come in here. You can have your all device group. So you can just have all my Windows, all my Mac, all my iOS. I can have, of course, my Google, my Chromebooks. And then, of course, we can also integrate with your directory. This is a great way to bring in that in a couple different ways. We do sync with Active Directory, Open Directory, Azure. So really nice flexibility there for you. Once you've continued to build out your architecture here, which is one of the first things we team up with you and do, is that you can furthermore break it down if you wanted to into your different buildings and then down into your different class sets, right? So again, very customizable based on how you want to build this out. The big benefit here too, and I know one of the questions that someone asked before, they mentioned a specific vendor. I'll remain respectful there. That vendor we know doesn't allow you to clone devices to be in multiple groups. That's where FileWave really goes beyond. You can clone your devices to be in multiple groups. They can be in my all Windows group, but they could also be in my algebra, my economics, English group. As many groups as you want to put that device, you can clone it and make that happen. All right. So coming back up here, so if also from the client's view, we can take some actionable items on these devices. So I'm first going to start on the Windows side here, and I'm going to double click this Windows machine. I want to make sure it comes up on the right screen there. There we go. And we're first greeted with this file set status window. And so you'll hear me say file set a couple times here today, probably more than a couple. A file set within FileWave is a payload, right? Basically anything that's associated, a package, right? That's going to be a file set. So under File Set Status tab, we're going to see all the content that's installed on this machine, right? How it got there, was it successful, so on and so forth. The Device Details tab is a really nice way for you to come and quickly get the intricate information that you need. Serial number, hard drive specs, hardware specs, all in all, manufacturer, serial number, IP address, RAM, hard drive space, you name it. It's all going to auto-populate in here once the FileWave is placed on that device through enrollment. All right, so it's a really nice way to come in here, like I said, see some intrinsic information here, quick and easy. The Users tab is a real nice way to see every user that's ever been in and out of this device. And it's just that, right? I know this doesn't really give you a clear picture, but in FileWave, under the Users tab, you're able to see who was logged in 5 days ago or 5 months ago, every single one of them. So you're going to see a historical running total here. When they were, who was it, when they were in, when they were out, how many times, right? So if you've got a shared model, and I'll reiterate this on those Chromebooks as well, because that's been a huge request. Policies are FileWave policies, not to be confused with like GPOs, things like that. So the FileWave policies are very simplistic. Basically, our way to tell this device or the group of devices what to do, like state testing, right? We just came off of that. And so in that regard, you'd create a FileWave policy to tell these devices, hey, no matter what changes we tell this device to make, don't do it. So that's kind of the joking example there. You can actually tell the device not to make any changes during specific times. And there's different things you can do within those policies too. Of course, the position map, very nice and easy. Being able to pull this device up right on a map, give you the latitude, the longitude, IP address checking into. And again, this is going to come by default every one of those 2 minutes, or if that's changed, it'll check in every time to get that updated information. Also, because I am on a Windows device, I get some couple other options here. So this is where I can jump in. I can jump in and take control of that device through Observe Client. Like I mentioned, though, it is full remote desktop. I can also remote wipe this device. This is a very aggressive wipe. I'll just preface that, which I will not do today. This will, being on a Windows device, bring it all the way to the blue screen of death. So of course, if you're in that last ditch effort to recover that device, you just need to wipe it to make sure we're safe. You can go ahead and send that command here. I'll also reiterate with especially these two functionalities there are some security responsibilities that come along with them. You can restrict your different administrators if they have the access to do these. So that was on a Windows device. And so I'll quickly shift over to a Mac. And the first thing I want to bring your attention to is that there's no difference, right? So it looks very similar. And that's the first thing that we want to bring to everyone's attention here, right? One platform looks the same no matter the operating system we're jumping into. So once again, I have my file set status. I've got my device details of this Mac. I am going to add some tabs here because we're going to pull in all the MDM attributes. So all the commands that have been sent, any managed applications that have been associated, installed apps in general, installed profiles. There's that users tab again, FileWave policies, and again, that position map for that Mac device. Also under tools, you've got the remote desktop and also remote wipe capabilities. You can do all those executables from a right click of the device as well. Show location, observe client. I can unlock lock. I can also clear passcode so you don't have to call Apple, give them your blood type. If you've ever had to do that on those iPads or MacBooks, you can do all that with a simple right click of that device. All right, so next is an iPad, right? Quickly checking on, I want to get one that's tracked just so you can make sure that you get that. And I am utilizing one of my engineer's servers here, so I apologize. All right, cool. So again, now I'm on an iPad, could be an iPhone, file set status, all the content that's installed, device details, everything and anything about this device I want to know. MDM command history, managed apps, installed apps, documents, profiles, and then, yep, even on that iPad, you can track that guy as well. So I'm going to shift down here to Chromebooks real quick because obviously we know there's a huge influx of Chromebooks. And so as we can fully manage the Windows, the Mac, the iOS, the Android side, the Chromebook side of FileWave is a collaboration with the Google console, right? The GAC. So first we're going to sync with your GAC structure that you've got in place. And by doing that, it's going to auto-populate all of your OUs that you've already had created. After that, the devices will start populating within those OUs. Then it becomes like, all right, FileWave, what benefit do we have here that we can't do in the GAC? Well, first with a couple items you can do in the GAC, but here we want to make it much more efficient. Number one is creating OUs. I can create OUs. I can create a staging group. And why would I want to do that? Because when I create that staging group, I can now drag and drop one device, thousands of devices from OU to OU, just like that. Very, very simple, very, very fast. And it's not that straightforward within the GAC. So if you're getting hundreds or thousands of more Chromebooks coming in, you can come in here and just grab them all and tell them what group to go to that much faster. All the changes that you make, whether it's creating an OU, changing the devices within OU to OU, it's going to make those changes for you inside the GAC automatically. You don't have to change it both places. So it is a two-way communication. Any changes you make in the GAC will be represented here in FileWave. Also, when I double click a Chromebook, what do we get? Much easier access to those device details. If you wanted to create some custom fields in here, mark it as, broken screen, like I said, missing keys, things like that, you can create custom fields. But you can also run different reports on, hey, I need to know every Chromebook pinging this IP. I need to know every Chromebook with, these different specs. You can create reports for you or other administrators on the fly. Chromebook data tab is a customizable tab for you to put in here what's really important to you that may not be easily accessible. The users tab, as I mentioned, I was going to reiterate that here because this has been crucial. As we know, the GAC does a great job of telling you the last known user. That's where the buck stops. So once again, FileWave is going to keep a historical running total of every user in and out of this Chromebook, so you can always report against it, especially if you're having to try to research who broke what or who was the last one to have it after it went missing. And then yes, even on those Chromebooks right here, you can track those guys right together. Now, one thing I did also want to touch on is that you can actually track multiple devices at the same time. So I'll scale out here so you can kind of get the full picture. Come over here to the US. And so as you can see, if I was a school district and this may be cause for concern unless we allowed them to take it on vacation. So you can track multiple devices at a time, get their actual, again, all their location details, run reports for anyone outside of a specific area as well. Excuse me. All right, so that's some quick executables from the client's view on the specific devices. Next, we're going to shift over to the file sets view. Now, again, file sets, just a payload, a deployable within FileWave. There are 9 different options of a file set, and I'll start here with the empties. So empties are where scripts are going to be originated. So you can create scripts. Like I said before, we support all iterations. So you can create your scripts, execute your scripts right from here. You can also import pre-configured programs from FileWave.com. This is really nice as we try to stay ahead of the game for you, especially with those more complex installations like Creative Suite or Office, things like that. Software updates. So again, this is, as I mentioned, just by clicking software updates, I'm going to come in here. I can see all my Windows updates, all my Mac, all my iOS, my tvOS updates, and even those big bad Big Sur updates. As we know, some other programs have struggled to keep up with those same day updates. We've got you covered here all the way through with same day support on our MDM side. All right, so really nice here. I can go here, I can see just the updates that I need. And so if you've noticed this checkbox, it says requested only. If I uncheck this, it's going to show you all 17,000 almost updates that the Windows catalog has. But everyone on the call here probably agrees, we don't care about 90% of those. I only want to see the ones that matter to my environment. So by clicking that, it's saying that my devices they have 90 or 89 updates available to them. And now you can decide how you want to deploy them. Maybe you want to bring it over to a test machine first, make sure it doesn't break anything. Maybe you just don't care and you want to approve it for everybody. You can do that too. And I'll give you some scheduling options here in just a moment as well. Next is profiles. So again, for those Apple users, we have built-in profile manager. So no need to have something else, third party or whatnot, right from here. I've never had to leave the FileWave just yet. So right here, I can upload those profiles that someone asked about before. If you are converting from a previous MDM, we more than none can go ahead and export those profiles, import them into FileWave to give you a head start. But all in all, you can go ahead and create all of your different profiles, your payloads in here right from FileWave. Next is the App Store. So we have a direct integration to the Apple App Store. It is still available, not widely used as much anymore because we do prefer that direct sync with the volume purchase program, but we wanted to leave it here so you have that quick access to jump in and get some licenses for what you need. You can also quickly inject an MSI or PKG from maybe your desktop or another location. You can bring it in right through here. Or you can also use our customizable file set magic tool. So our file set magic tool really comes into play for those more complex, or again, any software or application you just want to customize. You don't want to just send it out of the box. Maybe it's Creative Suite and you want to take away some permissions. Maybe it's Office and you want to remove PowerPoint and Excel for whatever reason. You can do that with our file set magic tool. And I'll just use this as an example. When you customize a program within file set magic, it allows you to have very granular file level access. So as you can see here, I was able to rip apart this program and see every single that is created or accessible within this installation. So if I just wanted to change the license text format or change the entire README text that says, hey, this is simple, just do it. You can do that here, or you can create your own instructions. You can also create, you can modify, remove any one of these. You can edit the regdiff key if you needed to within your programs before or after the application's been installed. So very nice way for you to have that granular access here as well. All right, so next we're going to jump over to associations. So associations is the screen where everything comes together. So I've got my client's view here. So I've got my all devices, I've got my Chromebooks, I've got my classrooms, right? So however you've built that out. And then I have my file set screen right here ready to go. So this is really straightforward because everything, once you have it ready to be associated, is drag and drop. I can drag this update onto my all Windows group, or I can drop it onto one device at a time. Or as I mentioned before, I can drag it onto a school building. I can drop it onto an actual class, really configurable, customizable based on your needs. Now, once we drag and drop onto, let's just do a device for this example, it doesn't just happen. You can come down here and tell it what to do. All right, so this is really nice. So I can come in here and I can say, hey, you know what, FileWave, don't start this deployment until Friday, please. And then furthermore, don't activate it until the following week. But if you noticed, I deployed a software update. So we're going to give you this fifth option. This option allows you to force reboot at any deadline, right? So if you guys can, obviously we hopefully can all agree here, we send out updates, we're keeping our devices in compliance, our users, more importantly. All they need to do is reboot their machine, but at the end of the day, they don't listen. So now we give you that way to force that compliance amongst that device. So if we've deployed this today, we've said, hey, I'm going to give you 3 days to reset your machine. If you didn't listen, you're going to get a 15-minute warning, but guess what? You can't stop it thereafter. So all in all, we just want to make sure that you have the ability to make sure you are in compliance with those major updates. If none of these deployment protocols matter to you and you just want to make it optional to them, you can just put it into the kiosk that simply. Now, putting something in the kiosk will override any need for administrative credentials. So that's very important. If you, the administrator, are putting it in the kiosk, you're done. When that user sees it available in the kiosk, they can just click the install button. They're not going to be prompted to enter passwords or anything like that because you have pre-approved it for them to have it. All right. Next, coming down to imaging. So we do support full Windows imaging. And this is really nice because if you think about the life cycle of what you go through, you're getting your devices ready in one system. Now you're deploying content and inventorying them within another system. Here at FileWave, we're going to keep you within the one platform. All right. So we can create your different images here. We love a thin image protocol, which allows you to make base one simple thin image. It can go to any Dell, Lenovo, HP. We don't care, right? Make the same image without drivers, because after the fact, you can inject your drivers as you need to based on the models that are out there. Because then FileWave can be your complete deployment engine for everything thereafter. So you can see my images are very, very minimal, right? And just by adding Office, I could add upwards to 4 to 5 to 6+ gig to this image. Why is that necessary? Thin image, then we can use FileWave to deploy within associations all the necessary content to these machines over the air after they're out there associated. So it's going to really bring down your time that it takes to image your devices, especially coming up once again here in the summer. The Classroom tab will be activated if you're using Apple Classroom. That's it though. If you're not using Apple Classroom, it'll go away. But if you are using Apple Classroom, it's very important that your MDM supports it, like us at FileWave. And then this will allow you to sync those devices within Apple Classroom. We also give you a free copy of clever.com so to help you upload your SIS that much faster. Here in the iOS inventory tab, this is just a secondary optional tab that you can go ahead and put inventory data. This one is being used by my engineer to show him all the iPads that haven't checked in a specific time, right? Those are some expensive devices. We want to keep a good eye on those. So license management. So as I mentioned before, a central place to go to keep you in compliance, or better yet, know what you've purchased, know how many have been installed. Like I just said, are we in compliance? Yep. Red, we're bad. Yellow, we're getting, or amber, we're getting close to being out. You get to set those parameters. But we know how many we've owned. We know how many have been installed. We know we're in compliance. But again, coming here at the end of the year, I need to know where it all is. So within FileWave, you can run reports to say, hey, show me all the machines that have Office, Creative Suite, other learning applications. All right, now I can remotely remove them. I don't have to redo an image. I can just remove all of the content from these machines over the air and reassociate the new and really simplify your refresh over the summer. Now the boosters, as I mentioned, are configurable right here. As we do utilize the boosters to do that device discovery, here is a kind of raw data discovery of even those non-managed devices. You're going to be able to see the vendor, what type of device it is. We're going to pull in all of those attributes as much as we can. And this is really great though, is if you do have another asset management tool, that's cool because we can inject all of this inventory data into that system once again, through our API. Last but not least, inventory, right? So asset management within FileWave. You can get as crazy as you'd like here within our inventory system. First, though, if you are just getting your hands on FileWave in a test or POC, we're going to give you some head start, right? So we're going to give you the ability to kind of see all of these quick and easy, some simple configurations. So like I said, giving you a head start on what's available, right? If I just want to see, hey, all my Windows machines, where are they? Show me everything that has Creative Suite on it, everything that has Windows Office, this version. Show me all my Chromebooks, you name it, all the way down to some more customizable ones. Show me all my machines with less than 8 gigs of RAM. Show me my Chromebooks that haven't checked in 48 hours. Maybe that's a problem. Show me the applications installed via the App Store, location, application usage, you name it. There's over 3,000 fields that we give you to give you the ability to create whatever inventory queries, reportable items that you, and again, other administrators are asking you for. That's one of the big benefits of FileWave, is that you can come in here, you can create any number of reports based on what you want to see, and then you can go ahead and save it and schedule it to be automatically emailed to other administrators throughout the organization. You all know that you're getting asked for different data points, and they don't have access to the systems. Now you can go ahead, make the report, have it scheduled automatically, whether it's, hey, show me all my machines that haven't checked in, like I mentioned before, or maybe we want to look for a malicious application or software that's installed. Maybe we don't want them to have Minecraft or Tinder, right? You can actually create safety net groups to always be watching. And if it shows up, it'll pull it into a group. So really flexible, really your imagination is what will limit you to what you can create. So the sky's the limit on what you can pull in here, all the different reporting opportunities you have within FileWave. All right, so like I mentioned, that was a lot of information within just under 40 minutes. We are available for questions. I did want to bring up one quick thing in closing as we kind of wait for any questions here. What kind of are some next step options? So number one, we've got your dedicated Midwest staff. We'd love to join you on a more of a discovery call, learn about what systems you have in place. How are they working for you? How are they not? It's okay. We can be honest. We want to drill down and get that one-on-one demonstration, really get into the weeds, talk about some workflows. We're going to always be open about the cost structure here at FileWave. Is again, dealing with education for as many years as we have. We want to be upfront about that, but sensitive to that as well. We can also provide you a full production environment with that guided setup. You'd work with your dedicated engineer, Michael Hughes. So anytime you're ready to get your hands on FileWave, let us know. Like I said, full production environment. We want you to experience just what a customer would. If I didn't mention before, I'll reiterate here to now. FileWave is all inclusive. So that is awesome, right? All these different functionalities just based on what you're needing to manage. All the functionalities, though, are going to be there. You don't have to worry about wondering what level you've purchased or anything like that. Once you have FileWave, once you have the licenses for your machines, you've got the functionality there available to you. Our technical support is working off of an unlimited model. So that's really nice, good peace of mind for our IT administrators, knowing, hey, I can call, I can email, I can submit a ticket, whatever the flavor is, you can do so and you're not going to run out. We do also provide ongoing updates available to you at any time. We usually do we like to see an update based on specific updates that are made available through Microsoft, Google, Apple, of course. Maybe once every other month, you'll see kind of some tweaks as we'll get those. Aside from all the all-inclusive fun stuff, we do also offer pro services for more of the customizable needs that you have. If you are coming up against a huge deadline, you'd like FileWave to help you out with some certain things, we can do that for you as well. Licensing options, really fun for us to talk about here because like a lot of the other programs, we do have that per device per year model. You can just license what you need, or we are the only management platform that offers a true unlimited district site license. This is really great for those schools that have more devices than they do students. That's perfect. That means, yes, let's talk about a district site license because now we present you with a one flat cost, one fee. And now you can enroll and manage any number of any kind of devices. Huge peace of mind for procurement, on year-to-year budgeting, knowing like, hey, we know our price to manage these devices. Now I don't care what's coming at us. We know we've got the platform to manage them all. All right. We understand there's a lot of different funding options out there right now. We are very excited that we have been, we were a part of the CARES Act 1, now the version 2. We are also a supported product line of that, as a lot of people are still kind of waiting for those funds. So a lot of different ways that we can be flexible with you, especially coming up here in the summer. If you are worried about a budget cycle, don't let that stop you. We're extremely flexible in that regard. We can give you everything right up front, get you going, get you a way ahead of the curve before that budget time comes along. If this is the right solution for you, we just want to we want to partner with you and make sure you have what you need going forward. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I'll do another really quick check here if there are any questions. All right. If not, I will send it back over to the ByteSpeed team to close this out.
Thank you, Stephen. That was really good and really helpful. Just a reminder, the recorded webinar will be sent to everyone who registered. So if you wanted to reference the information later, I will make sure to send it your way. As Stephen mentioned, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to the FileWave team for any next steps. We'll be glad to help you. So thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you.